It feels a bit nerve-wracking to be opening the exhibition with actually hardly any artworks in the gallery, because this summer putting ourselves in the picture is really just focusing on the process of making work. It feels very experimental and a little bit risky, although I am really confident that we'll actually be generating a lot of amazing artwork. Putting ourselves in the picture is Fabrica's summer exhibition for 2019. It's a co-commission with Project Artworks, who are the lead on Explorers, which is a UK-Australian project.
Project Artworks is an artist-led organisation, and we collaborate with people to enable them to explore their creative potential. So the Explorers project was conceived by Project Artworks, and it is a collaborative programme of work over 3 years. And it's to do with creating opportunities for greater representation in cultural programming of people with complex support needs, and enabling cultural organisations to find ways to work with them. The last year of Explorers is a series of co-commissions and exhibitions that all of the collaborators and partners are producing.
What we've done with the exhibition is to take two questions. Firstly, who gets to make work, or who gets access to creative space, as the first question. And the second question is whose work gets selected, whose work is considered worthy of public viewing. And we've explored these questions by taking the exhibition hall at Fabrica and breaking it into two separate spaces. The first, the larger space, is an accessible studio, a place where people can come and make whatever they like. The second, smaller space will show a series of mini exhibitions made by 4 different curators or curatorial teams, and they'll be largely showing work which has been made during this period of the exhibition. As part of the workshop experience that we're offering, we've commissioned 3 different artists, Sara, Joslin and Jo Offer, to work with us over the period of the exhibition. So they're each undertaking a sort of 2-week, 3-week residency.
My residency will involve a large floor-based making space. The premise is that there's a thinking, doing and making area, and the studio will be busy and also have some moments of pause and deliberate stopping and thinking, but also lots of entry points for different people. So depending on who you are, depending on what your interests are, there should be lots of space, opportunities for you to come in and find something within the space that you're interested in or you can contribute to. There'll be a large pendulum hanging from the roof, and that will be a mark-making tool, but it will also be a focal point for interactions between us. Visitors can also expect some pop-up activities that we will be designing based on what happens over the weeks. So there'll be things that allow people to engage, maybe just for 5 minutes, maybe for longer. And they'll be informed by the conversations and the work that's made elsewhere within the residency.
My approach to the residency starts with objects. So there might be a typewriter or a lamp, BMX or a big balloon or an umbrella. And we're going to choose objects, make an assemblage of these objects. And then once we've made that assemblage, we'll respond in other ways, through photographically or through drawing, with a sort of restricted palette. So we're working with sort of grayscale and black and white chalkboards and a big chalk wall, black paper. That's the starting point, but I have no expectation of really what will take place. So it might go somewhere completely different to what I'm imagining, and that's kind of the point. It's about responding in the moment to the materials and the people. And then in the afternoon, of course, after the workshops, when the afternoon is open to the public, they will then have the opportunity to respond to the traces left by the workshop. So we'll leave the assemblages up. It's very much an experiment, and that's what's interesting about it.
So I'm going to create like a tent environment with canvas, and I'm going to hopefully cover as much of the gallery studio space as possible with canvas, so that nearly every surface becomes something to work on, and or a surface that can capture the engagement of the visitors in the space and the paint. I'm also going to use just paint and really stretch out the versatility of the paint, and use mediums to make it into a paste or to help it become more fluid, so it can be used in sprayers and be used in a really sort of visceral and sensory way. I'm also going to use sort of unconventional painting tools, but sort of familiar objects, so people don't feel threatened by them, like mops or squeegees. And hopefully this will allow people to sort of leave any sort of preconceived ideas about painting, or painting a picture, or painting something representational, and can use the materials in a more open-ended way. I'd also like to respond to the architecture, so that the actual proposition to engage and to paint is something very different to what people may have experienced before, especially in, say, like a school setting. So people are more encouraged to maybe use their whole body, use larger gestures, and are more intrigued by the space as something completely different to what they've done before.
So for Project Artworks and this project, a human rights approach is predicated on the idea that everyone has a right to participate in art and culture. And we just need to work hard to find the right approach, because if you treat people all the same, you create inequality. So we have to adjust and treat people differently in order to treat them equally. So that's why this exhibition has such a fundamentally inclusive approach to both the making of art and what's shown and how it's shown.
I think the thing that's right at the centre of this exhibition is we're really just saying, here is a making space which is genuinely accessible to almost everybody to come and make something. We're opening up the space to what we hope will be the full diversity of what is possible for people to create creatively. I suppose in the belief that good work will come out of that. So I guess the exhibition is a statement, a call perhaps to broaden our view of who might be an artist. Because in doing so, we'll end up with a much richer and broader range of artistic product. And why wouldn't we want that?